Welcome back, Dice fans. You know who it is. It's Ross from the Weekly Dice Arena with your continued coverage of the 2019 Dice Masters National Championship. We have been through 3 rounds of Swiss. We're about to jump into the 4th and final round of Swiss competition. After this match, the competitors will be paired down to the top 8 players based on their record in their first 4 games. So that makes this game super duper important for these 2 players. The winner will have the best chance to move into top 8, and the loser will more than likely be eliminated. So a little extra stress on the game today. We are jumping in with Jonathan L. and Ben C. Let's take a look at what they're playing. Over here, we're going to start off with Jonathan's team, and immediately the thing that strikes me is bolts, 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 bolts. My favorite energy type. So this looks like a classic bolts burn team. Bolts have sort of been known for that sort of aggressive play style for a long time, but with some new flair, right? We've got this new Jubilee. Yuan-Ti been around for a bit, but a classic bolt. Pyro, Shriek for control, Firefly, Spider for control, boom boom, big damage. And then we sort of come to a pivot, right? We could go this bolt burn team. We've got this Firefly when fielded, deal 1 damage for each bolt character die you have in your field. Mixed with this Jubilee, just the bolt ping or burn play style is going to be super heavy here. But then we get down to the actions, and you sort of have to ask yourself, 1 cost and 2 cost. Super good actions, by the way. What might be the alternative win condition? We look up here to Unblockable Yuan-Ti that says when you use an action, you get to deal an attune damage as well as she cannot be blocked, which is super rowdy, especially when paired with Improvised Weapon, which has the potential to make Yuan-Ti a very attack-heavy character when she's normally not. Excited to see how this works and which direction his opponent's sort of going to force him to play. It's either going to be that bolt burn classic awesomeness, or it's going to be the Yuan-Ti unblockable with Improvised Weapon, some thrown brick in there. Let's see what Ben's playing and see which way he might force Jonathan to play his team. We open up Ben's team, and right at the top here, I think I see the core of the team. Sort of some other enabling things down here. The Techno probably going to be used for the global here to farm those bolts. Ring of Winter is going to make 6 costs or more cheaper. Clayface going to be doing Clayface things. Rez is probably going to be used for the global. And then we got Magic Missile down here, which is going to be ultra important when paired with these 3 monsters here. Monster. We got Chewinga, the 1 cost bolt. I imagine at the beginning of the game he's going to be looking maybe to swarm these things, but later in the game when bolts become ultra important in the reserve pool, he's probably going to be hoping to roll these on double energy, because the damage is going to be dealt with this sucker here. Iceman, sort of the talk of the town at Nationals this year. When he takes damage during the attack step, deal 2 damage to target opponent. So the idea is get a lot of bolts, get a lot of bolts, and with Magic Missile, hit your own Iceman during the attack step, and 10 bolts later, the game is over. It's super fast team. We know it hits hard. He's got tons of tools on here, like an Energy Fixer, Techno Global, Ring of Winter, to make that happen super quick. Then we talk about alternate win conditions. He's got Hulk on here, which we've seen for a bit. I don't know that he's going to go that direction, but I think it is noteworthy that he puts Ring of Winter on the team, essentially just for Hulk. So if Iceman doesn't get the job done by himself, you put Hulk in the field, and then all of a sudden, all of your characters taking damage is a liability and a damage source for Mr. Ben. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited to see these teams just racing against each other. They're both very aggressive teams, and I imagine this one won't go to time. We'll see how it goes. Again, lots of stress on the line here, being the 4th and final round of Swiss. I'm so excited. Let's jump in and see what's up. All right, looks like Ben's going to be starting us off here. Again, I imagine his first purchase is going to be that Chewinga. Maybe going to do some bag management stuff to ensure he gets the right things that he wants. A bolt's good, and a mask is good, because I think we're going to see Clayface here. Yep, does use a mask for the Clayface Global, brings in Chewinga on double energy, and buys Shriek with his other 3. Over to Jonathan. He likes his mask because of Clayface, more than likely. Ooh, no bolts, though, is really going to hurt him, considering over half, and by over half I mean his whole team, is bolts. Really going to have to dig into the actions, I suppose. Going to buy a magic missile from Ben's side and resurrect to prep 1 die. Not the turn he was looking for. A little unfortunate. Going to definitely slow his start down. Ben gets a sidekick. Question mark, bolt. Which again, getting bolts is pretty good for Ben. Getting those question marks, always good. I imagine he's going to use one of those to use Clayface. He does. Brings in Shriek on double energy. He has 4. He could go Iceman right now. So he uses the Mjolnir Global to spin that sidekick down to another bolt. Does reach for Iceman. Resurrects. Which, one thing to note is he used Clayface to bring Shriek in on double energy instead of Chewinga, which put her in the transition zone for that turn instead of Chewinga. Just decisions that have to be made, things you have to think about when you're using that Clayface Global. Jonathan does get his magic missile on double energy. I think that's what he was shooting for. I can't imagine he would want the damage at this point. Really needs to start building after such a whiff of a turn, his first turn. I imagine he's holding that question mark down there as potentially a Clayface. So he wanted to use the Ring of Winter Global there to discount his 5-cost Spider, but Ring of Winter Global only affects 6 costs or more, unfortunately. He does get a resurrection there, though. That extra energy preps 1 die for next turn. Passes to Ben. Ben does get his Iceman. This could hurt pretty badly here. He's got to be able to roll it and field it. Sidekicks are just as good as bolts because of the Mjolnir Global on Ben's side. Iceman does not come along, so the damage will not begin just yet. He does have plenty of options here with those question marks again. Rolls sort of betraying both players at this point. Jonathan's first turn. Ben's, I guess this would be turn 3 maybe. Ideally, he would have liked to field an Iceman there and then ping it, 4 times for 8 damage to Jonathan, which is a hefty chunk of damage, especially this early in the game. Gonna buy a Hulk. So he is going to reach for the Hulk. Maybe that's the tech, is if you miss Iceman on first roll, you just go the Hulk route. Because then it's sort of double-edged, right? Every time Iceman takes damage, Hulk will attempt to spin up, assuming you can get the both in the field. But you'll be dealing damage through the Iceman ability and through the Hulk ability, which just makes this team have crazy burst potential in terms of damage output. Jonathan rolling his 5. Doesn't like the sidekick. Rolls it for a mask, which with Clayface around, masks are never bad. Also, lots of globals recently used masks. Buys a Boom Boom and buys a Yanti. So might be moving towards that unblockable Yanti attune play style. It's going to be odd, I think, in terms of the things that Ben could pull out of his bag here. It's going to be interesting to see what he chooses to Shriek if Shriek comes out next turn. So there's Chewinga on single energy, which again, I feel like is the intention here. Swarm is nice, but he hasn't bought a second Chewinga. Oh, and makes me eat my words. Buys a Chewinga. Clay faces it in. I was going to say Swarm isn't really what he's going for since he only has 1 Chewinga, but then he buys another. But as a 1-cost bolt, that Chewinga just paid for itself, which is sort of wild. 2 more Chewingas. So now, Swarm is a real deal here for Ben. He could get tons of dice with that ability, pending sort of the timing. If they all go in the bag at the same time and all come out at the same time, that's not necessarily what he wants to be doing. But we'll see if he can get the Swarm engine rolling. Jonathan's Spider is out. This is the Spider that says, when Spider is active, when an opposing non-Spider ability deals you damage, deal that same amount of damage to target opponent. So he's going to use that sort of to reflect. It's not reflect. I'll use the word reflect loosely here. He's going to reflect Iceman's damage back at Ben. So it's not a full reflect because he still takes the damage. It's just that you deal the same amount of damage to your opponent. So for every 2 damage he takes from Iceman, Ben will also be taking those 2 damage. And then maybe, thinking that Ben will still be okay with that plan, he could come through with that unblockable Yuan-Ti and or maybe the magic missile and deal the final couple damages before Ben can close it out. I think that instantly becomes Ben's Shriek target at this point. Makes that decision a little easier. Jonathan buys 2 improvised weapons, which we know is going to pair well with that Yuan-Ti. So Hulk comes out of Ben's bag first, as opposed to Iceman rolling last turn. Hulk does roll character face, which is going to begin the oppressive nature of that card. Again, the text on Hulk says, while Hulk is active, when a different character die you control is damaged, spin Hulk up 1 level. If you can't spin Hulk up, meaning Hulk is on level 3, deal 2 damage to target opponent. Every time a different character die you control is damaged. So those sidekicks in the field are actually pretty valuable here for Ben in terms of being characters that are able to be damaged. Can't tell what level Hulk is on, but we will find out as soon as he tries to spin that thing up. Probably on Jonathan's turn here. He's going to see if he needs to block with the sidekicks first. Then he's probably going to ping them out with Magic Missile if they remain untouched. Sort of noteworthy that he didn't get that Chewinga to roll this turn, because he would be refilling his bag and rolling 3, potentially pulling 3 Chewingas out next turn. Jonathan rolls his 4. Question mark, shield, mask, and the improvised weapon action. Problem with that action is that I feel like attacking is not really on his to-do list this turn, considering when Ben blocks, his characters will take damage and Hulk's attack, or Hulk's ability will trigger. Now, it could totally be part of Jonathan's game plan here, just to let Spider whittle them both down. Spider's defense low enough to ping out with Magic Missile. So now Jonathan can't attack because that damage would be totally one-sided. So Iceman and Shriek coming out on the same turn. Sort of an interesting pool in terms of, do you want to reroll Shriek? Or do you want to keep her on double bolts? Because as it stands, this is going to be massive damage. Going to reroll these 2. Question mark, fist. Going to have to pay to field Iceman. Has a 1 fielding cost on every face. Fields Iceman with the fist. Has 4 bolts. Doing a little quick math here to see whether clearing Jonathan's only blocker is going to win the game, I think. If he uses 1 bolt to kill the sidekick, then he uses 3 bolts to ping Iceman, that'd be 6 damage, plus rolling the Hulk up to level 3, as well as potentially doing more damage. I can't see the face on Hulk currently, but this is a lot of damage. I can't imagine Ben wants to buy anything. I think he literally is just considering how much damage is this, and is it worth killing the sidekick or spending another bolt to ping Iceman again. Just seeing which is the most efficient way to use that energy, which is a beautiful piece of this game. It will be critical. If this isn't enough to kill Jonathan, it would be critical that his spider comes back out next turn. But after you're at a life differential or a deficit, so he's going to take damage here regardless, and then you know, reflecting, quote unquote, that damage becomes much less powerful since he's at a losing score after this turn. Just sort of in a tough spot. If I knew what face Hulk was on, be able to do some maths, but we'll just have to see what happens here. Aha! An unconsidered portion of my plan. He used one bolt to use the Techno Global, made all of his sidekicks into bolts. Magic Missile's the sidekick out. There's now no blockers. Moves to the attack step so that Iceman's ability can trigger. There's 2 damage from that Iceman. Hulk spins up 1 level. Spins another. 2 more damage thanks to Iceman. Hulk was at level 1. Now she's on level 3. Two more bolts. 2 more Iceman pings. Down to 12. I don't know what I missed, but that seems to be the game. It was just enough. Swings for 11. Comes through. What a game. Holy moly, folks. That was exciting. And we knew it was going to be quick, but things escalated quickly. As soon as that spider got removed, we knew the game was going to be moving along. Ben had those 2 sidekicks in the field, which really helped him amass enough bolts to make it happen. Jonathan, just with 1 sidekick out there, just was sort of at the mercy of the Iceman. So great games to both players. I hope it was exciting for you guys to watch as it was for me. If you're enjoying the coverage and content, please go find me and the Weekly Dice Arena on these 2 social media platforms. Like, comment, and subscribe on this video as always, and we'll be back shortly for the top 8 cut. Thanks for watching.